If I ask every one of you to close your eyes and picture a successful startup, what do you see? I guess you see the headlines reading $100 million raised, or a young founder ringing the bell at the stock exchange, or perhaps a clip from Shark Tank where the deal closes within 3 minutes flat. We are living in the culture of celebrating the valuation of a company over celebrating the real value that it creates. We are obsessed with the harvest, but we have forgotten about the seeds. For over 25 years of living in an engine room of global finance, my journey didn't start from Noida. It started and sailed through the high-rise boardrooms of Singapore and the venture capital ecosystem of Jakarta. I have managed a lot of family office funds, and I have managed a lot of VC funds. I have seen billions of dollars flow into ideas, and I have sat across with founders that are brilliant, charismatic, and very well funded. And I have also seen something called as paper tigers. These are companies with a beautiful pitch deck, a hockey stick growth chart, Stanford graduates, and buzzwords such as big data, crypto, and generative AI. But when the markets turn and easy money stopped flowing, these companies not just vanished, they disappeared. Why? Because they were built for speed, but they lacked roots. They had the capital, but they lacked character. They were beautiful high-rise balloons soaring in the sky, but with one pinprick of reality, they popped. When I decided to get back to India to establish Convanto, I did so because I believed in this India century. I could see the crisis brewing. I could see the smartest of engineers from all across the globe. I see young, ambitious founders from all across the world in India. I see young ambition in this room, but I also see fear. For young founders are copying the playbook of Silicon Valley, a playbook that is fundamentally broken, a playbook that says fake it till you make it, a playbook that says growth at all costs, a playbook that measures your success with the amount of money you raised rather than the amount of profit you made. If we want to build a truly Viksit Bharat in a truly developed India, we need to stop copying our operating systems from the West. We need to stop importing our values from the West. We need to look inward. And I call this the founder's compass. It is a framework of 4 ancient wisdom value words. Words that you have heard in your temples, words that you have heard from your grandparents, words that you have heard in your neighborhood. But I'm not here to teach you philosophy. I'm here to teach you business strategy, because these 4 ancient wisdom value words are the most sophisticated metrics for survival in the modern economy. Let's start with north on our compass. North is dharma. That is how I have derived it. And in our ancient texts, dharma is a heavy word. It means duty, cosmic order, righteousness. And it sounds so spiritual. But in the boardroom, I translate dharma into one brutal question. What is your product market fit? Or rather, why do you exist? I have lots of founders that come into my office every day at Convanto. And I had one such founder, a young chap who wanted to build a fintech app. When I asked him why, he said, because the fintech sector is trending, valuations are high, and one of his seniors had just raised fund in the same sector. This is not dharma. This is distraction. Then I met this another founder, a female founder, who was building a supply chain for farmers who had lost 40% of their crop to spoilage. When I asked her why, she did not quote high valuations. She did not want to become a unicorn. She said that she had seen her father lose his harvest, and it was her duty to ensure that all other farmers don't lose theirs. This is dharma. Dharma is when your startup is aligned to a purpose higher than yourself. It is not about chasing paychecks. It is about solving a problem that is hurting in your community. But why does this matter to the investors? Because there will be days when you run out of cash. There will be days when your founders will quit. And there will be days when your product will crash. So, if you are chasing the markets and if you are chasing the money, you will definitely quit. And this is what happened to the founder who was building the fintech app. His company closed down after 18 months of operation and vanished. But the female founder who was building the supply chain for farmers not only survived, pivoted, struggled, was standing tall. Why? Because she was anchored in dharma. So my first compass point to all of you over here is that stop chasing trends on Twitter. Stop chasing market trends and money. And build something that is hurting in your community, because truly then your startup will be successful. Let's move to our next compass point, Satya. Satya means truth. It sounds like giving a moral advice. Don't lie, speak the truth. This is what we tell to children. But in the startup world, this is the process of due diligence. For students who don't know what happens after the cameras are shut down after a Shark Tank pitch, here's when the auditors log in. And this is called the process of due diligence. I had a founder from Southeast Asia who walked into my office and claimed that he had 50,000 users and a very high retention rate that could make Facebook jealous. But when we did his due diligence, we found out that it was a lie. All those 50,000 users were bots, and his retention rate was fabricated. To be honest with you, this founder had a lot of potential. Had he come to my office and told me that, look, I have 5,000 users and I need a growth plan, I would have immediately written a check to him. But because he lied, not only he got deserted from the investor circle, he got blacklisted. With contrast to another founder who came to my office, sat across the table, looked straight into my eye and said, look, I have messed up with my revenues, I have messed up with my marketing, but I have a plan to fix it. I immediately wrote a check to him. Why? Because not only I was investing in his company, I was investing in his character. Satya is your true capital or trust capital. And to the founders who are clear their due diligence process, this is an important factor in the startup industry. So even when you run out of cash and you have built the trust between your investors, your customers, and your team, they will fight for you. But if you lie to them, not only they will desert you, you will disappear. And if you want to rise, you have to rise in Satya. Moving to our next compass point, which is South, the Seva. Seva means selfless action. When a guest comes to our house, we treat the guest like God because we say Atiti Devo Bhavo. But in the startup world, we are obsessed with vocabulary such as user acquisition, capture the market, target the demographic. If you hear these words, capture, target, they sound like as if you are in a warfare. We are treating our customers as data mining points. And I challenge founders who come to Convanto to stop asking this question, how can I make money from this customer, and start asking the question that how can I add value to his life? This is not charity. This is the most important business metrics. It is called customer lifetime value, CLV. For instance, let's take the example of Tatas. For Tatas have survived in the industry for over 100 years because for the longest time, people and the nation believe that not only they serve the public, not only they serve the nation, but they also serve their stakeholders. So for students who are building their startup, ask yourself this question. Are you trapping your customer or you are serving them? Because there is a difference between scam and legacy. Let's move to our next compass point, Dhriti, which is resilience. This is very close to my heart. The reason being because the entrepreneurial journey is a very lonely journey. It is filled with self-doubts. It is filled with phases where you will feel that you're failing, but you're actually rooting. I understand some of the students in this room could be building a startup, and they would be awake till 3 a.m. thinking, what are they doing? Because they will see no results. They would be comparing themselves with their friends who have luxury cars or are going on vacations. But I want to tell you that if you feel ever that you are failing and you don't see results, you are actually in the process of rooting. To give you an example, I have an example of a bamboo tree. In the first place, when you start planting a bamboo tree and start watering it, you will see no results. In the second year, you will see no results. In the third year, you will see no results. In the fifth year, the bamboo tree grows 80 feet tall. Why? Because all this while, the bamboo tree was busy rooting in itself. Most of you in this room are in the root building phase. But the investors call this the valley of death, and I call this the valley of roots. So if you want to rise higher, you have to make your roots stronger. Now, let's talk about today's theme, roots to rise. We talk about a Viksit Bharat and a developed nation by 2047. But what is a truly developed nation? It is not about having bullet trains. It is not about having glass buildings. A truly developed nation is built with truly developed leaders. A truly successful startup is the one that has the founder with all these qualities, dharma, satya, seva, and dhriti. Because these are not some separate points. These are one synchronized heartbeats. So my suggestion to all of you is that don't just chase to become a unicorn. Don't just chase high valuations. Aim to make your roots stronger, because only when your roots are stronger, you can rise higher. Thank you to all of you.